Hey, what is up, guys? I'm sitting here with Jas Takhar from Toronto, Canada. So this is a super exciting episode for me because Jas is someone that I met less than a year ago, probably less than 6 months ago, actually. And he's someone that I really come to respect and look up to as a real estate agent. He and his team are killing it. So he's up in Canada. Jas and his team are the number 3 team, I believe, the number 3 team in Canada with Royal LePage, which is their biggest brokerage. It's like their Keller Williams. And so they're absolutely killing it. And at the same time, Jas is building this huge content machine. He's putting out so much content on a regular basis, graphics, videos on all platforms, and it's amazing to me. And so I wanted to pick his brain today and see, first off, like how he was able to build such a massive, successful real estate business and the content. What does that do for him? So Jas, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks so much for having me, Dustin. As you mentioned, about 6 months ago, you and I were introduced by an awesome mutual friend we have, Justin Conoco. Shout out to him from London, Ontario, which is about an hour and a half drive from where I am. And Justin called me up and he's like, dude, I need you to talk to this guy. And I was like, sure, let's hook it up. Us 3 got on a Zoom video call like this. And within the first 90 seconds, I'm going to say, Dustin, I was like, whatever Dustin wants to do, I'm down. Like, I'm just down to do it because your energy was top notch. Your thought process of giving away all the information and giving away value was right in line with how I like to run my team and my business. And I'm so glad that you and your partners put together the Industry Syndicate, because we all now got connected. Like, we got connected, and I met some amazing people through the syndicate. And really, just watching what you guys are doing. Like, I know you made mention with all the stuff that I'm doing, but I sit back and it might be something as small as the little teaser that you put out to your viewers and listeners. And I'm like, you know what? I like that, because then I get to read the comments and see what other people like. And I know you're okay with me essentially copying what you're doing, because we're all trying to help each other, and it's vice versa. I feel very flattered if someone would want to take any type of content I did, let alone want me on their podcast. So thank you so much for having me, my friend.
You bet, dude. You bet. Yeah. And so you mentioned the Industry Syndicate. You are one of our founding member shows, REC Experience, up in Canada. If you guys have not come across REC Experience yet, you definitely should. It's not just a real estate show. It's more of an entrepreneurial podcast that has a real estate perspective on it, of course, but it's a great show. And you've had some big guests. Scott McGillivray from HGTV's Income Property. I love that show. Like, I used to watch that show. Like, I haven't watched HGTV in a while, but I watched that show every single episode. And then you've had Ryan Serhant, you've had the CEO of Royal LePage, you've had
I had the CEO of one of our biggest breweries here as well, Steam Whistle / Von Bugle, Cam Heaps, who's just an amazing person. Spoke about how many people doubted him when he was opening up a brewery, and now it's become one of Canada's largest. I just finished an episode with Josh Altman from $1 Million Listing LA, and the list goes on and on. But I really appreciate you making mention, Dustin, of that. It's not only a real estate show. In fact, you
and it was consumer facing. That's how you started out.
Totally consumer facing. We sat back and I was like, man, I'm kind of getting bored of this content. Like, how many times can I tell people that they need a home inspector or they need a lawyer up front? And we sat back and they asked me the question, like, what are your real passions, Jas? And it was entrepreneurship and leadership.
I want to talk about content. So you guys, you become one of the top teams in the whole freaking country. And out of 52,000 in Toronto, that blows my mind. Like, I thought Phoenix in Arizona was crazy because they have like 40,000 agents. Yeah. 52,000 blows my mind.
We had 40,000 like 10 years ago, to be honest with you.
Come on, Phoenix, step up your game. It's bonkers. So you're one of the top agents in Canada, in North America, like top of your game.
Thank you.
You now spend so much time and money and effort putting out content. The REC Experience podcast, definitely go find that on iTunes, guys. They're an Industry Syndicate show. Your Instagram profile, your Facebook, everything you do, the awesome graphics. How do you do all that, and why do you do it when you have so much business already?
So I wanted to make sure that we protected ourselves as a brand in terms of being thought of when people think of real estate. As I mentioned, the evolution of the podcast, specifically what happened with entrepreneurship and leadership topics, I knew my passion would come out, and it would be very easy for me to talk as it is with you. Like it's like you and I having a beer right now. It's exactly how I think of my podcast, right? It is the number one thing I think about in the morning is the branding and the content that I do. So I've spent probably 50% of my time now throughout the day producing content, 50% on the sales side. To me, they work hand in hand. It brings us, like, it's not like one is more important than the other because they actually start to feed each other. So originally I thought we were going with this podcast and all the branding to get more business, new business. What happened really quickly is I started to meet clients because we do events, live events and seminars and educating people how to buy, sell, and invest, or we're just on the phone with our clients, that they started speaking about it. So people who were already in my circle who do transactions with us, they started saying, oh, wow, we listened to this episode and we saw this guest. That started to kind of blow my mind where I was like, oh my God, I kind of forgot about the people that were already in my network and how this was going to play with them. They love it. So then really quickly, we pivoted and made sure that forget about thinking about new business coming in. Let's just service the people that we already have. So we have an REC Insiders list, we call it, which is about 4,500 strong. That is our community that we built over a 15-year period, just building bricks day by day, month by month, year by year, that love our content. And so I produce the content solely just for them now, because I know how much they like the real estate stuff, but they are also business owners. They're also people who are wanting to make changes in their lives. So the leadership content, they like listening to it. They also have younger kids, teenage kids who we know the school, the education system might not teach them to think outside the box or think inside their own box and only do what they're passionate about. So they're passing it on. They're passing on the content to their kids as well. How we do it, I have, in my opinion, one of the best teams around me who literally, blood, sweat, and tears they put into this for something that I just thought was, a dream and a passion of mine. And so I have a full-time copywriter, a full-time executive producer. I have a full-time a videographer, full-time graphic designer. I have my business partner who, for some reason, just loves to, is okay with me being as crazy as I am and let me go bounce off walls and try new stuff. And I take it very serious. And that's why I have a full-time team doing it. We follow one model, and it's the Bible. And I'm looking around my office because there's always copies printed, which is the Gary V content model. I took that as my textbook. So again, I don't have that formal education, but I knew to see something and I just executed on it. I execute on things really quickly. It's just in my nature. I come in from a weekend like today, it being Monday, and I had 6 ideas that from a sales perspective and a content perspective that they're all going to be, I look at my whiteboard in front of me, they're all being executed as we speak. That Gary V content model, for anybody who's listening or watching, and I know, Dustin, you've seen it and probably read over it 100 times, is our Bible. We produce one macro piece of content, and then I think the only thing I did different from anyone else, man, is I took it seriously. And
you made the investment. Yeah.
I made the investment financially, and now I'm learning, right? Like my copywriter is so like his traits, his characteristics are so much more different than my videographer. My videographer is different than my executive producer. So I'm learning how to really build out this core team of mine now, and understanding that they're going through their own shit every single day. And I got to reverse engineer what that is, having a blast doing it. And like we mentioned earlier, man, once you start getting one or two texts and or messages or phone calls, it feeds itself, right? Now every day, everything's a piece of content to me. Like the opportunity is there. There's a reticular activator system in your brain, the RAS for short. It's when you buy a brand new car, red Mercedes-Benz, you start to see the exact same car everywhere. They were there before. You just starting to see them because the activator system has been activated now. Yes. It's for me, I see everything as a piece of content. You and I were talking. I was like, Dustin, I'm not only going to share this, but I need this recording because I'm going to probably do about 22 pieces of micro content out of our conversation, right?
Right. I love it.
And so the brand has now fulfilled the sales end of it, where people are calling. And when I take a meeting, and this is what anyone who's listening, this is where it would go for you in a year and a half, 2 years. I promise you. It'll probably happen sooner, but I want to buy myself some time. 2 years where you will sit in a meeting with somebody and they'll maybe started like this, cross-armed, but they get real comfortable with you real quick because they saw some content you produced that was valuable. And so they come to you they're listening, they're ready to go.
That's so powerful. And I could not agree more. I look up to you and your team as someone who, like, I'm trying to get to that point where I build out the team to help support the content. Because, guys, even if you're a solo agent like myself or you have a big team, content brings sales. Content and branding brings sales. All right. And branding works with, like, if you're running Facebook ads, you need to have branding to help support when people see your Facebook ad. If they recognize your logo or your face or your team name or whatever, and they've seen you other places positively, all of a sudden, boom, that Facebook ad's going to convert a hell of a lot more than if it's never seen it before. So I love it. I absolutely love it. I look up to you guys.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching and listening. Please take a second right now to subscribe and follow us on whatever podcast platform you're watching or listening. It means the world to me. Thank you.